see. Currently, I'm trying to find the exit to this room. Quite unsuccessfully, might I add. You can break... Oh, well, it's been concealed, that's why. You can break the blocks that make up the platforms of the dungeons, but you can't break the wall of the dungeon. Just a quick demonstration. It is bedrock, essentially. So don't even try that. There's some lava. This room scares me. Oh god. And as you can clearly see, lava has been made much less horrible. I think the burning has completely been taken out, as a matter of fact. Dungeons are also usually littered with torches. For some reason, this room isn't. Great place to bring that point up. But, yeah. It's also a great way to get torches the first couple of nights, because obviously... as you've seen back there, dungeon chests drop a lot of coal, and rooms like this are just completely littered with torches. So it's a great way to stock up and not have to go down and mine. Although mining on the Ranger is essentially a cakewalk, because you can just dig a 1x1 tunnel. You don't have to worry about falling into lava because it's been nerfed, and you can climb up out of it, and you don't even have to worry about ladders to bring yourself back up, because you can climb up any natural block except for dungeon and tower stuff. Which is kind of sad, but that's okay. And I saw the mob spawner. Also, tip, if you want to play this game, at least semi-seriously, use your leap a lot. It will help you in a lot of situations, especially in jungle biomes and dungeons. And as I've seen, Rangers probably succeed in jungle biomes the best because there are many tall trees which can act as good shelter for them. And, among other things, you just look awesome in there. Which is great because your abilities suit the biome, especially because there are so many hills, trees, and other things in this mob spawner. Needs to die. If you're going to kill a mob spawner, of course, kill it with a pickaxe. It takes an eternity and a half if you do not. And as usual, who needs to aim when you have lightning? Let's grab some torches, and oh god, they're still alive. Also, mobs actually do deal sufficient damage, but it's not horrible. I'd almost say it's a nerf from vanilla, so you can take more hits, especially if you invest in, I believe the stat is fortitude? Yes, it is fortitude. Speaking of which, all of these did not exist before. So, now I finally know what these things do, which is awesome. They still need to take agility though, so who knows. This used to just completely be programming junk. Just file names and file paths. So I'm quite glad to see that they have stepped it up and polished the game immensely. Also, on a side note, I leveled up, so I guess we get one more tab. I still haven't found anything that goes in the spellbook. And this is the stat that I want to level up after fortitude because I am really weak right now. So I'm going to just get 100 points in health and then level up my range damage because my range damage is horrible right now. My goodness. And there's a skeleton. So I'm going to press shift to access my spells because I don't think I covered that before. And let's see if we can explode him into lava. Love that spell. A small bug with the explosive shot though is I believe the explosion force does not go away, so it might push you into certain things. I've done this with experiments on tundras, so it might be a small bug with the ice, but oh dear god, I'm not quite sure about whether or not that has to do with explosions or ice or something. It's definitely a bug though because I'm pretty sure there's no reason that you should be forbidden to go in a certain part of a frozen lake / area which contains absolutely nothing. So hopefully that is a bug because that would be really annoying if it wasn't. Also, raptors now make spider noises, take note. Never go. And also, luring a bunch of things into lava is an excellent strategy because you die relatively quickly. Lava does take them out in relatively short order. Plus, it's free damage. Unless they are, of course, a red slime, which means they are too awesome for fire. I do not know why there was this lightning damage. Back again. Oh god, that's an elite. Die! Oh god. So I'm gonna hide out here for a second, because as you can see, my health bar is not quite faring well. Food is, I believe, completely defunct because health does not regenerate with your hunger bar. Instead, it just regenerates, period. I believe it's 3 health per second if you have 100 health, which is pretty good. I think that Fortitude increases it along with your maximum health, so obviously that should be the main stat if you're feeling like tanking. Let's see if we can do it. Yes, there were a lot of people back there, so now I know not to go in there. And let's see if I can explodify them. Again, if you're smart, you won't use the regular shot. One arrow will do so much damage with a little bit of mana that you're going to regenerate almost instantly anyway. So never use a regular shot is what I'm saying, essentially. Other than that, actually no, never use a regular shot or a multi-shot, because unless you really need the extra damage, multi-shots aren't going to do you much. Of course, don't use a lightning shot if the enemies are directly in your face, because it will do that to you. But, don't use a regular shot either, because you're not going to do that. Jumping up would be a bad idea right now, but staying down here is probably an equally bad idea. So, I'm going to shoot him. This would be an excellent time to use a regular shot, because we don't want to get destroyed by collateral damage, which explosive and lightning shots are full of. No irony. Let's jump up. Hope that our health starts regenerating faster, even though it won't, because this is computers. And continue to mow this guy's down. Another good strategy for a dungeon, if you're having trouble with a room, is to come back later and hopefully rush in before the spawners can spawn too many enemies. At this point, I believe we've reached a bit of a bottleneck, but I do want to kill that elite, so I'm going to keep trying. As you can already see, I'm down 46 arrows. It is not an amazing number, especially considering how much I've done so far, which isn't much. And while I wait for my health to regenerate, I'm going to get a crafting table. One of the things about craft mine, hack, slap, whatever it is that you forget that you're playing Minecraft quite often. So, honestly, you forget to craft a lot. So, be sure to do that, because iron swords and other things are actually something better than the random. Die! As soon as the elite dies, I'm going out. As you can see by the in-game radar, which is actually quite handy, there are a lot of enemies there. And I probably... Also, if you're going in close to the shot with a smaller radius, as I have seen through some very unprofessional testing, than lightning shot, especially if you're attacking vertically. So if you are going to attack vertically, do that, because even though it does kind of mess up the terrain around you and your overall battlefield, your health might thank you, because sadly, even though health is relatively large in this game, and you will feel indestructible at times, especially in the overworlds, it doesn't regenerate quickly unless you're Mr. Fortitude, which I don't recommend anybody be unless they're that guy that charges in and tanks for everybody else. And that actually involves being on a multiplayer server, and things are optimized for multiplayer, and multiplayers are just set up with this thing, and mods, and so yeah, essentially don't be Fortitude, especially if you're not crazy enough to set up a multiplayer server. Which I might be, eventually, if this thing works out. So, let's get out of here, because I've clearly reached the bottleneck, and I honestly do not feel like going in there with 20 health and getting my buttocks kicked. So, get out of the lava first off, that's a good first step. Living to tell the tale when getting out of here is just as important as physically getting out of here. Also, side note, if you die, you don't lose your items, you just lose, I believe, a little bit of XP, and maybe not even that if you're playing on a certain difficulty. I'm not quite sure what the difficulties do yet in terms of numbers. Perfect example. So yes, you don't lose all your items, you might lose some. I believe that you also lose some durability. Probably copying off of popular MMOs or something. And as you can see, the range is incredibly well suited to the jungle biome, because there's just stuff to climb everywhere. You'd be hard-pressed not to find something to climb within about 5 blocks of your current position. Oh, hey. And I believe that is where I was before. Grapevines. At least the corners. Yes, that was. And as you can see in the radar, there is either an A or an R, and then level 1. And that stands for either area level 1 or region level 1. Take your pick, because